Hello and welcome. It is 1:32 and we are going to play with ClassKick. I'm going to share my screen real fast here. I'll come back to our tech integration site. So remember, right now we're going to dive into ClassKick. This is a great tool for interactive assignments. That's a good link to a quick overview, but I want to show you what ClassKick can do first. So this is what ClassKick would look like from a student perspective. I've already shared, I can share a link to, and actually I'll copy that and even put it right into the chat, and you can choose to do this with me if you would like. So paste, and if you would like, you can press escape to get out of the full screen, or you can simply watch me do it, and that's okay too. And you can enter your own name. Your students would be able to do the same. They enter their name. And here is ClassKick. Maybe watch with me first, and then I'll give you an opportunity to play with it. So I have already created a quick example lesson or an example assignment that I might want to ask kids to do. I'll start off with a quick, how confident are you that you can use shoe verbs? Shoe verbs, this is a Spanish idea. You'll notice there are 5 options in this multiple choice. I tried to limit it to 3, but it made me use 5. And so wonderful, fine, I have 5 different options. Notice that I had to write what A, B, C, D, E means directly on the slide. And then this little piece here, this interactive piece, is always the same. So you have to write your questions right on the slide, and then you can add or that interactive multiple choice component right into the slide too. Here's an example of some input, so wonderful. It says, watch this quick video on shoe verbs. And this is one of my favorite shoe verb videos, because so shoe verbs is an idea in Spanish, and he gets a little crazy, and then he gets into this wonderful little song about how shoe verbs are wonderful, and what are shoe verbs? What are the different types of shoe verbs? So great. Students have watched this video now, and then when I scroll down, here's another. So up here we had multiple choice. This is an interactive feature. Here's another interactive feature where I can poll different things. I can poll the boxes into where I want them to be. So this is called a manipulatives component on a ClassKick slide. You'll see up here that there are 3 slides. Students can also, if they're required to, so I can have them write if I wanted them to write. So think about math. It might be a math question, and I want them to then write out their response. And maybe I want them to draw what that might mean. So there's 2 and 2, and there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Great. So now I've got my answer, so that's the right feature. I can also erase if I want to erase. Good. I can add lines if I need to add lines. I can add my own text boxes if I need to add my own text boxes. And again, you're looking at this from the student perspective, right? Students too could add a link to something they finished and pull that link directly into the ClassKick activity. I can add an image from my computer or from my camera. Because my computer's using the camera, I can't do that right now, but I might pull an image into my camera and say finish. And I can resize it. So all of this you can also do from the teacher's side when you create your assignments, and I want to show you that too in just a little bit. but I want you to be familiar with what students can do first. So once again, so here's a multiple choice piece, an interactive piece there. This was the manipulatives. That I really like that idea. And now let's look at some more. This is called fill in the blanks, and you'll notice here, so it's asking people to practice. Remember, this was a Spanish example. So ella, no, and this is an O to UE changer, so puede, and glance at it with me. It actually says in this top right here, my grade for this slide. And so let's make a mistake. It tells me I got 1 point, so I did this one correct. I didn't do this one correct. So it's giving me immediate feedback, and that's the biggest point here. Quiere, I forgot an E. Aha. I got immediate feedback, and I was able to see that. Elige. And I got all 3 points correct. Isn't that fun? On the next slide. So it's asking me to tell 5, so use at least 5 of the verbs to tell a short story about anything that I want to tell. So here's a big text box that the teacher put in for me, and I can answer however it is I would like to answer. Beautiful. You'll see in the top right, I have not been graded for this one. This is not an immediate feedback grade. But let's look at what that is, how that appears from the teacher perspective. So you're looking now at the backside of ClassKick, the teacher dashboard for ClassKick. I'm going to open the assignment that we were just looking at. And now I can view student work. Kind of interesting, when I scroll down here, you're going to see Nick. I did not put Nick's name in here. When Nick signed in, it automatically created him in this assignment. And that's kind of nice. The bigger point here is that you don't have to mess around with creating a student class if you don't want to. Your students don't need to log in. They just need the link. They just need the link to the assignment, and then they're ready to go. So let's open Nick's work here. And so you'll notice here, this is out of 3 points. This first question up here was not graded. This was just, you can grade multiple choice things. You can, you don't have to. When I scroll down, I can see what he did. I can't move these things around because I'm not the student. So good, I can see how he did. And then in the top right, I can give him some points for how well he did on this slide. You'll notice right here, it's giving me the ability to easily move around the different people. So now here's how Howard did on that one. When I scroll down here, and so good, let's just continue with Howard, good. So I'll continue. Remember, these are fill in the blank questions, and these were automatically graded for kids. I always, though, with fill in the blank automatically graded questions, I always hesitate to do that, because what if a student just makes a mistake when in spelling? Are you really going to take full credit away from them? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. And especially in now's time, I think we want to be pretty aware of student feelings around, or just their anxiety around grading. So good, you can have it automatically grade a fill in the blank question, but you don't have to. Here's an example where this is not automatically graded. I've already graded it. I put in 5. I can change it down to 3 if I want to change it down to 3. So I have to translate this for you. We don't have any Spanish teachers here, but I have to translate this to you, right? It says, use at least 5 of these verbs to tell a short story about anything you want. So this is what Howard, this is what Howard wrote. He says, I close my eyes when I can't sleep. I ask my wife to get me a glass of water, but she doesn't want to help me. I feel sad. I start to cry. Anyway, I have to give my wife a hard time because she was sitting right next to me when I was doing this about 3 hours ago, and she didn't want to give me a glass of water. So that's why. Now this is being recorded, so everybody will know. And anyway, so I did what I told her I would do. Anyway, I'm going to share one more time. All right, so this is what it looks like from the student perspective, and then we also, I'm sorry, this is what it looks like from that student perspective. I want to show you, though, how can we create an assignment. So this is, again, on the teacher side of ClassKick. Here it's showing me the different assignments I've created. You can create classes if you want to create classes, but actually you don't have to create classes. Remember, your kids don't actually even need a login to access ClassKick. So I'm going to create a new assignment with you. And so we'll create a new blank. Also important to mention is that they do have a great library of assignments that are pre-existing. But let's create a blank assignment. And I'll back up here. So up here is where I give it a title. And of course, I can then give it a description. And then at the top here, I can say, who is able to access my assignment? So only your students, or I could share my assignments with a colleague, for example. That's also kind of nice to be able to share something you've done with someone else. Great. I can tell it what subject it is, but I actually don't have to do that if you don't want to do that. But now to edit those different slides, I can have more slides. You don't have to only have 3, but wonderful. Let's open one of them. And this is where now the magic happens. So I can, with the pen, start to draw if I would like to draw. But if your handwriting with a mouse is as bad as mine, maybe you want to type instead of draw. With the text boxes, I thought it was a little bit funky that in order to change the font size, I couldn't select, I want 18 font or 20 font or 10 font, whatever. It's just clicking up or down to make it larger or smaller. Great. Let's pull in an image. And so here's I don't even remember what this map of Iowa communicates, but it doesn't matter. So here's an image of Iowa. And when I click on it, I can make it smaller. And here's Iowa. And so for example, my text might be circle where Nick is from. Did you know I'm from Iowa? Did you know? So here, I want kids to circle part of an image. Good. On the student perspective, let's look back. So this is an example of an image. If we're looking at it from the student side. So if this is the map of Iowa, I'm from right there. I'm from the East Coast of Iowa. Muscatine, Iowa, that's my hometown. So good. I think it's important to share. So you're able to move those images around, but then when it gets to the student side, the students are not able to move your images around unless, remember, so here's an example. Now wait a second, Nick, they can. Well, yes, they can, only if you make it a manipulative. So let's glance at that. Going to just go to a new slide here. Let's add in, this is our multiple choice, this is our fill in the blank, and this is a manipulative. So it's showing you here one limitation that I experienced when I was creating my example was that you can only really play with images that kids can move around. So I actually, inside of PowerPoint, created those querer, poder, those buttons I created inside of PowerPoint. And then I came to File, Save As, and I saved it as an image. I saved it as a JPEG image. You could do the same in Google Docs if you wanted to do the same in Google Docs. But the point being that in order to get these things into ClassKick, they have to be images. Well, what if I have a PDF, you said? Okay, there's a couple ideas with PDFs. I have a PDF converter on my computer. It's a quick and easy way for converting PDFs. Or if you have, it doesn't matter what kind of computer you have, if it's a Chromebook, if it's a Mac, if it's a PC, you can also do a snip, right? You can take a screenshot, either that full screenshot, or I can select part of my screen. And now I can save that image as an image that I would want to pull into my my ClassKick. So that went straight to my downloads. There it is. Good. And then here is where I would be able to select part of my image. So this is my button. Good. Finished. So there's that at. And then if I wanted to add another, I can select my file, select that same file, and now I want the B. Good. Next, next, finish. So now I've got my B, and then I want the body of it, right? I want to select that box up there. So here's my trash, and now I can pull in. So you're watching me do it, right? And even with one image, I'm able to pull that image apart. Okay, so wait a second. I just made a mistake. Do you know what I did? I added this as a manipulative. That means that the kids are going to be able to move it. I don't want that to be a manipulative. I want that to be an image from my computer. So I can still select that image and still say, I only want this part of my image. The point being, you put the image in, the image cannot be edited by the kids. They can't pull things around. But the manipulatives, they will be able to pull around. So great. I'm thinking about us who have maybe some worksheets already saved on your computer. So this would be a very quick and easy way to pull in different parts of that worksheet and make it interactive. Great. This is the manipulatives question. Let's come to the fill in the blanks question. So here, when I add a blank, I can have it automatically grade responses. Maybe in a math classroom, for example, I see Deb online. Maybe this might be an example of me pulling in a snapshot of a question, or maybe I even type out the question. 5x plus 22 equals 33, or 32, how about that? And so we make it easier on them. And so then, of course, the kids would, on their side, they'd go like, well, 32 minus 23, good, that's 10. And so then you got 5x and then I can divide by the 5s, and then I got a 2, right? And they'd be able to enter the text of 2 there. And if I'm using the adding the answers, having it automatically grade, so I can add the example answer of 2 here, and that I want this to be worth 1 point. Good. This is the fill in the blanks. So it's a predetermined box that I want kids to type in. And that's what this looked like. If I come back over here and come down, this is that box that I created as the teacher for kids to write in. But remember, of course, kids can create their own text boxes too. So, I mean, yes, it's nice for you to be able to say, this is where I want you to type your response, and there's that nice green box around it, but the kids can also add their own answers there as well. Wonderful. Let's come back to our new over here, and it looks like in order to add a new slide, I actually have to come back to the front, which is kind of silly. You wouldn't think you'd have to do that. Move a little bit quicker, please. Oh, yes, please. Let's come to here and back to here. Very good. All right. So great. Another thing I want to share is those multiple choice questions. And so here's my multiple choice, and it's telling you about how to do it. If you click on the I there, you can tell it no correct answer. Or maybe I say, select the correct response. And then in a separate text box, I pull down here and say, A is right, and B is wrong, and C is wrong, and D is wrong, and the like, right? If I wanted that text to be smaller, once again, I'd have to come back up here and say, be a little bit smaller, please. And then inside of my multiple choice up here, I want to add a multiple choice. Now I can tell it how many points do I want. So wonderful. Actually, A is right. Good. And I can have it be worth 1 point. When I'm ready, I press save. And I can put that question right inside of the slide. Great. I also want to play with the backgrounds. Let's come here. So one thing, we've done a lot of this now. There's an undo button, there's a redo button. I can zoom out, zoom in. This is the pen. This is a highlighter, so I can highlight different parts of it. I can erase my highlight if I so desire. We've played with the text and the lines. We've talked about the links. We've pulled in images, remembering that those images can't be moved by students. Another nice component of ClassKick is the ability to ask kids to record their response to you. You can ask them to record their voice. So good. So that's up here too. I as well can record my voice asking the question. It won't let me do that right now because we're using Zoom and it's taking my camera, right? It's taking my microphone, so I can't demo that live, but fine, you could do that. Here's your manipulative at the top here. This was the fill in the blank. Here is your multiple choice. This last piece is adding stickers. And really, this is meant to be for giving feedback to kids. So let's come back just briefly to our example over here. And let's look at some of the student work. And wonderful. So here is something that my student did. I can add a quick sticker. Point and click to where you want to place the sticker. Okay, so there. It's just a silly little piece of feedback, right? And so it's an easy way for me to then add some feedback to the kids. A cute way to add some feedback. Of course, we can also use the points system on each page to add feedback as well. I'm going to come back into our assignment that we're editing. Good. And so that you're aware, you can make a slide. So find an image of a river and identify the different parts, right? So there's a river, it's got a bank, it's got a stream, water too, right? But they're gonna find an image of a river and identify the different parts. And my point is, up here, I can tell this slide to be worth as many points as I want it to be worth. And so I was going to say as many as I want, but only 2 digits. So I guess I can go up to 99 points, but not over 99 points. So fine. Here, I'm helping the kids create their own slides, right? Like a Google Slides or a PowerPoint presentation. I can give them some directions at the top and ask the kids to create their own presentation almost. That's another use for this. Great. I want to show you though, we haven't looked at the background. This is where I could pull in some graphing paper if I wanted some graphing paper, lines. It's got a Venn diagram put right into it. Beautiful. It's also got a T-chart up here, as well as an template exit ticket. Of course, you can create your own something similar, but you can change those backgrounds if you desire to change the background. You can have it be a solid color if you want it to be a solid color, but that would be how you change your backgrounds. So ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is all we wanted to show with ClassKick. So remember, I went to ClassKick and I created my teacher account. And then to create my new assignment, I clicked right up here on new assignment. One thing I didn't say yet is how do I assign? So good, I created an assignment. How do I share this assignment? So I click up to assign, and now I can, 1 second, I'm gonna add a roster. It looks, so you have to create a classroom. So you have to create a roster name. So this might be Ziegler 1 or something like that. So you do have to create a roster, but you don't have to populate it. You don't have to say, you don't have to create a student account for everybody. You don't have to. You can, and then kids have a little bit more power on the backside. But I think right now we're thinking about quick assignments. So then I can copy the link. This is the link that I can share with kids inside of Seesaw, inside of any other thing. It takes them directly to ClassKick, and it's already populated with the class code. And then they enter their name, and automatically then that student is added into your classroom. So here's that circle where Nick is from. It's right there, right there. We called it the booger in the old man's nose. Anyway, all right. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to stop the record.